Welcome to a journey into the heart of storytelling, where emotions rule and every narrative twist can tug at your heartstrings. Did you know that stories have the power to increase empathy by 47% in audiences? Yes, a well-told story can literally change the way we see the world and connect with others. In this series, we're diving into 6 unique storytelling techniques that don't just tell a story, they make your audience feel it. From creating immersive worlds that you can almost touch and smell, to developing characters that could be your best friend or worst enemy, we're exploring how to make every element of your story resonate on a deeply emotional level. So, get ready to uncover the secrets behind crafting dialogues that dance, pacing that thrills, and conflicts that challenge the soul. Whether you're a budding writer or an experienced storyteller, these insights will transform the way you weave narratives and captivate your audiences. Let's turn the page and begin the adventure. Chapter 1: Setting the Scene. Crafting immersive worlds. When you start a story, the setting is your first handshake with the audience. It's where you make your first impression, so it's got to be good. Imagine walking into a scene where you can almost smell the freshly baked bread or feel the chill of an icy breeze. That's the power of using all 5 senses in your descriptions. According to research, sensory-rich scenes enhance the emotional connection and memory retention of the story for the reader. This technique was used masterfully in Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, where the vivid settings transported readers directly into the heart of the Deep South. Now, think about the last time a story setting really stuck with you. What details pulled you in? Maybe it was the crunching of gravel underfoot in a tense moment, or the oppressive heat of a summer day in a slow-moving town. These details do more than paint a picture, they set the emotional tone. As Stephen King says, description begins in the writer's imagination, but should finish in the reader's. Creating immersive worlds isn't just about piling on adjectives. It's about choosing the right details at the right time. For instance, describing a setting during a pivotal emotional moment can heighten the impact of that scene. When a character feels joy, the world might seem brighter. When they're sad, the colors could fade. This contrast can deeply affect the audience's emotional experience. Remember, every setting is an opportunity to reflect the character's internal world. If your character is going through turmoil, a stormy backdrop can add to the emotional depth. This method of mirroring emotions in the environment can subtly influence the audience's feelings without them even realizing it. Chapter 2: Characters with Heartbeat. Developing relatable protagonists. Moving to our characters, they are the heart and soul of any story. People don't just watch a movie or read a book, they connect with the characters. We often see ourselves in their struggles and triumphs. A study from the University of Toronto found that readers often experience real emotions towards fictional characters, which shows the power of well-crafted personas in storytelling. To create a protagonist that resonates, start with authenticity. Think about someone real in your life, perhaps a friend or family member. What makes them uniquely them? Is it the way they always have a book in hand, or how they can't start the day without a strong cup of coffee? These small details can give your characters a heartbeat. But it's not just quirks that make characters relatable, it's their flaws. No one is perfect, and characters shouldn't be either. Flaws make characters approachable and their journeys believable. For example, Elizabeth Bennet's prejudice in Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice makes her journey towards understanding and love all the more satisfying. Next, consider your character's growth. A character should not be the same at the end of your story as they were at the beginning. This evolution can be driven by the challenges they face. Conflict, after all, is not just about external battles, it's also about internal growth. As your character overcomes obstacles, they learn and change, and this journey can deeply move your audience. Lastly, remember that your character's emotions drive the story. How they feel about events, how they react to others, and how they change emotionally will guide your audience through the story. Keep the emotional stakes high, and you'll keep your audience hooked from start to finish. Chapter 3: The Art of Pacing. Building suspense and anticipation. Pacing is like the heartbeat of a story. It can race with excitement or slow down for a moment of reflection. Getting this rhythm right is crucial because it directly affects how engaged your audience feels. Did you know that altering the pacing at key moments can significantly enhance the emotional impact of a story? For example, slowing down during a crucial scene allows the audience to fully absorb the emotions and stakes involved. A simple technique to manage pacing is the use of shorter sentences or paragraphs during high action or tense scenes. This mimics quick breaths and a racing heart, pulling the reader along with the action. Conversely, longer, more descriptive passages can create a pause, giving the audience a moment to reflect and deepen their emotional connection. One of the masters of pacing, J.K. Rowling, uses this technique effectively in the Harry Potter series. Notice how during the Quidditch matches, the sentences are short and punchy, reflecting the fast-paced nature of the game. This keeps readers on the edge of their seats. Rowling then slows things down when Harry is pondering over a problem, allowing the reader to slow down too and think with him. Remember, pacing isn't just about action, it's about balance. The key is knowing when to speed up and when to let the story breathe. This ebb and flow are what keeps the audience emotionally invested and ready for more. Chapter 4: Dialogue that Dances. Writing conversations that stir emotions. Dialogue is where your characters come to life and show the true colors. It's not just about what they say, but how they say it. A statistic from a script writing workshop reveals that dialogue can drive up to 50% of a story's emotional impact. This means well-crafted dialogue can make or break your connection with the audience. When writing dialogue, think about how real conversations flow. People often speak in fragments and interruptions, especially when emotions run high. Including these nuances can add realism and urgency to your dialogue, making it resonate more authentically with your audience. It's also crucial to ensure that each character's way of speaking matches their background and personality. Mark Twain was a pioneer of using distinctive dialects and voices to bring his characters to life, like in The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Each character's dialogue uniquely reflects their social background and personality, enriching the story's world. Another tip is to use subtext, the unspoken thoughts and motives behind the words. Subtext adds depth and tension to interactions. For instance, when a character says, "I'm fine," while avoiding eye contact, the audience can sense that there's more to the story. This technique invites viewers to read between the lines and engage more deeply with the character's emotional states. Lastly, avoid on-the-nose dialogue where characters directly state how they feel. Instead, let their emotions be inferred through their actions and words. This not only makes your dialogue more intriguing but also challenges your audience to pay closer attention, thereby deepening their investment in the story. Chapter 5: Conflict and Resolution. Mastering the heart of drama. Conflict is the engine of every story. It's what keeps the plot moving and the audience engaged. Did you know that stories with well-developed conflicts are 60% more likely to be remembered by audiences? That's because conflict creates tension and anticipation, compelling the viewer to stick around to see what happens next. A good starting point is to introduce conflict early in your story. This doesn't mean you have to start with a big battle or argument. Sometimes, a simple internal conflict, like a character's fear of failure, can be just as compelling. These conflicts drive the story forward and make your characters more relatable. When crafting conflicts, think about the different layers you can explore. External conflicts, like a protagonist versus antagonist, are straightforward and easy to understand. However, internal conflicts, such as moral dilemmas or emotional struggles, can add depth to your characters and give your audience something to think about. Remember, resolution is as crucial as the conflict itself. A satisfying resolution doesn't always mean a happy ending, but it should bring some closure to the conflict introduced. Think about the resolution in The Lord of the Rings, where Frodo's journey culminates not just in the destruction of the ring, but in his personal change and growth, which is a critical aspect of the story's appeal. Finally, balance your conflict and resolution to avoid predictability. Keep your audience guessing about how things will end. This unpredictability can make your story more engaging and memorable. Chapter 6: The Power of Themes. Connecting on a deeper level. Themes are the underlying messages that resonate through your story. They're what leave a lasting impression on your audience. It's interesting to note that themes related to universal human experiences, like love, justice, and personal growth, are found in 90% of Oscar-winning movies. This isn't a coincidence. These themes speak to us on a deep, emotional level. To effectively incorporate themes into your story, start by thinking about what you want to say. What's the bigger picture behind your story? For instance, if you're writing about a journey, perhaps the theme could explore the idea of home and what it truly means to your characters. Use your characters and plot to subtly weave in your themes. Let's take Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird as an example. The theme of racial injustice is not just stated, it's shown through the characters' experiences and the choices they make. This integration makes the theme powerful and impactful. Moreover, avoid being preachy or heavy-handed with your themes. The best themes are those that are naturally embedded within the story, allowing the audience to uncover and relate to them through their own perspectives.